Dirty old Dusty D. Come here. Let me brush your booty. I'll brush off your booty. Got too much stuff on your booty. You see his tail? You see his whip tail? Okay, your tail's fine. Tail feels good, actually. You ain't got no crusties in your tail. Got no weeds in your tail. You just got it in your booty.
I guess we really don't have to call them until the grass starts growing again, huh?
I honestly don't think we will have to have anything done until after summer and into spring.
Or in the fall, yeah.
Yeah, the fall, I mean. Yeah, I don't think this will need anything. It's dead. Dead and dry. It ain't growing. Good morning. Whoa, holy shit. How's it going? Pew, pew, pew. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Or afternoon for you East Coasters. I suppose so, right? I suppose that is true. Hot one today? It's probably going to be a little warm, I would imagine. It's not super hot yet.
$94.
94? That's not too bad for here. Anything below triple digits in the middle of the summer like this, A-okay to me.
Friday is supposed to be 109.
Oh, what is?
Friday.
Friday, yeah. Good God. We got ourselves a little break from it. We got a taste of it. And then, like, all of a sudden, we got a couple, like, 70, 80-degree days with a cold breeze. And I was like, what the fuck is this in the middle of June? And now it's going to be June. Now it's finally going to be June. Well, that's good news for those of you that like desktop streams, because when we hit those fucking long strings, 100-degree days, there ain't no way my ass is sitting out here longer than it takes me to smoke a cigarette or two. Utah a couple days ago had this awesome 65, 70-degree weather, and it spiked right back up in the 90s. Yeah, well, welcome to the summer. We had the same shit. It must have been like the same little, whatever, low-pressure front, I guess, that causes cooling. It's high-pressure fronts. They sit in, and they sit on top of you, and that's what causes heat, I think. So the low-pressure shit, I think, is what brings, like, breezes and storms and wind and cool air and stuff. So maybe that same system was sitting over Utah and shit. Who the fuck knows? I don't pretend to understand fucking weather. I just experience it. Flies.
I don't think anyone understands weather, truly.
Not even the weathermen. The weathermen are always like, that's why they always leave that 2% chance of rain.
Yeah.
They're like, there's a 2% chance of rain. You could pull that debate, I mean, pissing with laughter in supermarket. It looked insane, but it was worth it. Yeah. Dude, like, I don't know, man. It was a waste of time, honestly. Like, it was fun, like, entertaining, but it was an utter waste of time. The dude had nothing. And, like, that just goes to show you, like, the difference between a keyboard warrior and somebody that actually has an argument. Because that dude was... And there's a number of those fucking people. If you go back and look at that debate stream, there's a number of keyboard warriors in there. A guy named Mick Hitler, who just, like, as this dude was losing, was like, oh, Paul's losing this one. Like, just, like, full-blown, like, they've got a mouth on him, right? But you put him in front of the target. It's like, a lot of people don't understand that, like, the internet is not real life, right? And I think that this Origin of Language guy was a guy who had spent all this time listening to me and puffing himself up with these arguments and shit, and he thought he had something. And goes out onto the internet talking all this, like, major shit. Paul's a coward, he won't face me and shit. But when the showdown comes, when he's actually eyeball to eyeball with the object of his, you know, whatever it was, hate boner, they just collapse. They just, like... Mick Hitler is an adamant Jamie simp. No shit. No shit. No shit. That's crazy. I didn't see that one coming. Yeah, you could tell that he thought that he was gonna come in with his like seriously, bro. No confidence is a fantasy, and that I was gonna be like, you know, I don't know what the thought process was. Well, thank you for letting me know that, Weed Man. My order's being prepared, and they'll let me know when it's out for delivery. How nice of you. How wonderful it is to live in a weed legal state. Why am I hitting myself? I don't know.
Fly reaction.
Yep. I've just got natural fly reactions even when there's not a fly now. Whose Gish Gallop is worse, Origin or Jamie's? Okay, so Gish Gallop, we have to understand, all right? Gish Gallop is a certain thing. Gish Galloping when it comes to debate is a certain thing, all right? So I may have incorrectly used the term Gish Gallop, both with Jamie and with this other dude, because it's one of those words that a lot of people, including myself apparently, on some subconscious level, thinks means a person just won't stop talking. That's part of Gish Galloping. That's part of Gish Galloping. Gish Galloping is making so many sub-points that the other person can't fully respond to anything, right? So it's like front-loading the conversation so hard that you make so many points that there's no way that anybody in the allotted time on the other hand can even begin to get to them. That's a Gish Gallop. So neither Jamie or this other dude Gish Galloped. That would have required that they had a number of points, and that they could elucidate a number of points and do it all rapid fire back to back to make it hard for me to pick one out, and that wasn't what was going on.
I think Gish Galloping is more like for those timed, moderated debates to where
Right.
you can really overwhelm someone and then...
What both Jamie and this Origin of Dork dude did do was filibuster. That's a different thing. Filibustering is literally just talking so the other person doesn't have time to talk. That's like you talk for as long as you can and blah, 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 blah. So he was trying to filibuster. Every time he got the floor, he would filibuster for 3 minutes and not really say anything, right? And Jamie Darkey did the same thing. Every time she was given the floor, she would filibuster. That's different. See, with TJ, like his like intro style, his moderation style is to give everybody this, like, in my opinion, overlong 5 minutes at the beginning. But I think he's trying to make sure people have enough time to get their opening statement out. But I think 5 minutes is a bit overlong. I never use it. I use about a minute because I'm ready to get to the actual discussion. You know what I mean? This whole opening thing, to me, so obvious that he just didn't like Paul, but at the core he agreed with you, but he couldn't say that. That's true of a lot of the people that poop on me, like, for various reasons. There's a lot of people out there that just don't enjoy me. They don't like my tact, my attitude, whatever it is. They just don't like me. And so that my argument becomes an avatar for me. Is the Vaush discussion tomorrow? Yes. Unless he gets back to me and pushes it. Like I said, I shared with you guys the date and time, but at an early date. I did let him know that he can move me around to another time or move me around to another date if he needs to. He has not gotten back to me since then, so I assume it's going forward tomorrow, 11 a.m. PS time, Pacific Standard Time, PST. So you got to figure out your own time zone, 11 a.m. PST tomorrow, Monday. That's when we should be getting started. So that should be, whatever, interesting or fun or whatever. Yep. But like I was saying, when it comes to the people that, like, really vehemently disagree with me in the chat, I often find that it's a personal problem that they have with me. Like, a lot of the people that are Jamie Darkey adjacent that pop up wherever I am to cheerlead whoever's on the other side are doing that not because they agree with that person or they think that that person is doing a good job. They're doing it because they feel like showing support for the other side of the argument is somehow going to hurt me. And so when it comes down to it, they really don't have a position other than, I don't like Paul. I do not like Paul. I do not enjoy him. I will make a post now about how I would enjoy murdering him. $2 p.m. for EST people. There you go. Doing God's work. Doing the fucking figuring out of the time zone for people. What a gent. I think a lot of people think that if they can make me wrong, it makes them right. I think that's a very simplistic way of looking at how a lot of people approach talking to me. And that is just like, you have to understand that in a debate you're dealing with, especially on a topic like no confidence, when you're talking about a potential strategy, you're dealing with something that has wide ability to be interpreted in different ways. So you're not going to make me wrong. Like, coming at it and thinking that you're going to make me wrong would require there to be like some kind of rock solid example of how I'm wrong. And you're setting yourself up for failure when we're talking about something that is a political philosophy, a political opinion. What people need to come at me with, and what I kind of expect Vaush will come at me with, is more specifics about my plan. To dig down into the specifics of the way that no confidence moves, and then maybe find some contention there. But most people can't even do that. Twice now we've gone up against people who don't agree with no confidence. Not that these were like big time fucking opponents or anything, but neither one of these people has been able to capitalize on that debate tactic. Let's make Paul wrong, therefore I will be right. That's a losing tactic. I don't understand why people have any sort of problem with you, Paul. You're a chill, entertaining guy. I'm chill to a point. That's why they have a problem with me. I'm chill to a point. I don't give constant deference, and if somebody's shitting on me, they get shit back on, and I'm really good at it too. I'm good at shitting. So that's what happens. You know what I mean? People want to bring that level of, shit with me, and I'm more than happy to do it and be better at it. It's not like an advisable position to take against me, but it's like he expected no confidence to be the ultimate fix, when in reality, the idea of no confidence is to create space for a fix, right? Or at least to attempt to. And that just goes to show you, like, this guy for weeks has completely and utterly misunderstood my position. He was arguing that my no confidence position is to scare the DNC into changing. Oh yeah, if we don't vote for the DNC, then eventually they'll have to fucking change. No, those days are over. You know what I mean? And so he walked around for weeks with a misconception in his head about what my position even was, even though my position is very clearly elucidated in multiple places. Dude's up in my chat all the time, listen to me talk about it. You know what I mean? So it's just, that's another thing that happens a lot of times when people think they've got like a one-up on somebody, is that they will try and recontextualize your argument and make it into something ridiculous so that they can argue against it. You just don't let people do that. That's a tactic you expect from the jump, is that somebody's going to try and redefine my position for me. Not going to happen. I don't really agree with no confidence, but that guy last night was literally numbskull. The truth is, people should care less about the president and vote down ballot, which I agree with, sure. Yeah, we did one last night when TJ Does Life with a dude that's been asking for it for a long time. Hoping Vaush moves the convo to the gap after the Dems are destroyed, or the lack of leftist support, even if all leftists agreed. Yeah, I mean, these are all like decent points. And I suspect that Vaush will probably bring them up. And I suspect that there will be a lot of ambiguity in the way that my answers are interpreted and whether people agree with me or not. Those are the tough questions, right? I've answered a lot of them already, and I feel like I have a lot of answers for the ones that I haven't answered already, but they're not exactly like concrete, ironclad defensive answers. You know, I allot for the possibility that no confidence doesn't work, that no confidence blows up in our face, that no confidence achieves something down the road that we didn't intend it to do. This is all like no risk, no reward, right? We've been living for a long time now in this risk-adverse kind of tactic where we vote for the lesser of two evils as we define it, and that's it, right? This is a very passive tactic. It's a kind of a rollover tactic. I am advocating for a tactic that is much more aggressive, and sometimes aggressive tactics don't work out the way that they're supposed to, you know? I'm advocating that we try something different, that we try something other than cyclically voting for our own oppressors, watching things get worse, etc., right? That's my advocacy. Whether it works exactly how I lay it out or not, I don't know. I'm willing to allot for that. I don't got a crystal ball. I can't see the future. I do think that it is an argument that, you know, you could tread water with a lot of people, but it has to reach outside of my fan base for that, you know. So that's where I stand on that. Ask Vaush if he's tired of getting a golden shower from Joe. It's like every week Joe and Kamala show their butts. Harm reduction sounds weaker. I mean, yeah, it was already there. This whole harm reduction philosophy is something that I've been against for at least 2 cycles prior to this one. I've been listening to the harm reduction fucking argument for 2 cycles, at least, hard. We're talking about Hillary Clinton, then we're talking about Joe Biden. This harm reduction argument always turns out the same way the second Obama administration. After Obama had basically played himself out and become a neocon light, we were told that we had to go vote for Obama again because the alternative was so much worse. And it's just that same fucking gun gets held to our head every electoral cycle. Well, yeah, but look, Sarah Palin, look, fucking John McCain, look, Donald Trump, look. You know what I mean? And it just keeps us locked in this fucking impotent cycle where we're just electing the very same things that we're against. We hate austerity as leftists, and we're electing a person who never met a piece of austerity legislation that he didn't like. We hate anti-immigrants positions as leftists, and we just elected one of the most anti-immigrant politicians that you've ever fucking seen serve a long term in America. We hate the fact that America doesn't have a national health care system, and we elected somebody who has no fucking intention of even trying. You know what I mean? So it's just like self-defeating, tires spinning in the fucking mud. And, I'm willing to fucking put it on the line to try something different. And I'm trying to convince other people to do so. Maybe there's a better idea than the one that I have. I'm open to it. Maybe no confidence is flawed in some way that I don't realize it as a potential tactic, and maybe there's something else that can be done that's adjacent. I'm all for that shit. What I'm not for is the continuous cyclical lesser of two evils. Let's fucking bite the poison pill. Let's bite the bullet and vote for Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. Let's watch his progressive action get stomped. Let's watch his progressives, quote unquote, that we send to the fucking Congress get completely and utterly mutated into RNC light. And let's just keep doing that with our fucking hands folded in front of us, hoping that somebody will come along and push things back the other way. That's what I'm not for. I don't think that's happening. So I'm for no confidence or whatever else. How does no confidence help with these issues? That's the long form argument, right? So the idea with no confidence, should it catch on, is that we starve the DNC of its ability to win nationally, especially, and at the state level. So DNC candidates cannot get the support that they need, cannot get the votes that they need, thus kind of handing 2-3 cycles to the Republicans. During that time, we establish something that will stand in front of the DNC. We establish something to attempt to replace the DNC with something that's actually worker oriented. So we get a chance, once the DNC has lost its ability to be a political ping pong, to put forward a different idea and to put forward a different organization. As it stands right now, the power structure locked in as it is, DNC, RNC, those are our choices. Meet the left, right. That's it. As a trans, I had to go with harm reduction because a second unimpeded Trump term would be bad for trans rights. The truth is in the courts. We wouldn't have Arkansas passing trans laws. I guarantee you, Arkansas would have went forward with that, Trump or Biden.
If anything, they almost accelerate that shit when a Democrat's
Yep.
in office. Like any abortion laws get dialed up to 11.
Yep.
When
Absolutely.
Obama was in office.
When Trump was in office, we did have some heartbeat bills and shit, the Louisiana one being the most, but this idea that like us electing a fucking Democrat stops that social agenda is just complete fantasy. It doesn't. So the states that were going to pass anti-trans bills are going to do it anyway. Biden can't stop it, or else he would stop it in Arkansas, right? So what are you talking about? Like, you voted for Joe Biden to protect trans people, but he can't and won't? So what's going on? You think with Biden in power, there's less southern states looking to implement discriminatory bills against abortion and trans people? How did that vote for Biden help out trans folk in the global south? Good question. Right, but the federal government can attack trans people in many ways. That's what the person is talking about. Did Trump not attack trans military members? Well, let's talk about trans military members. What kind of a measure of trans rights is the right for a trans person to be forced to go into the military and be a bullet sponge so that maybe they can afford their fucking transition surgery and HRT? So you're saying that was a gift that Biden gave to trans people? Their right to go and die on the front lines of a foreign war to maybe get a chance at getting some HRT? See what I mean? They are not forced. You're right. They can sit around and not have enough money to get HRT or sex reassignment surgery and look in the mirror at a body and listen to a voice that isn't theirs all day, every day. Or they can join the military and sponge bullets and maybe get some HRT. Huh? Isn't that crazy? This might happen in the absence of no confidence catching on anyway. The Rust Belt is getting redder and Texas is still in the pocket of Republicans. Yep. Netanyahu just got voted out as Israeli PM. Thoughts? I don't know anything about who was elected to replace Benjamin Netanyahu. I know he has been a long-term militaristic problem and a long-term driver of the kind of racist ethno-state-esque policies that Israel pushes forward in its region. I don't know if their politics are like our politics here. I don't know if it's going to be meet the new boss, same as the old boss. I really don't see any reason why it wouldn't be, given that Israel is so functionally dependent on the United States and so functionally similar to the United States in terms of political stance. So, I mean, I guess on hearing the news, my initial reaction is a little bit of happiness for the Israeli people getting rid of a warmongering, racist piece of shit, Benjamin Netanyahu. But that doesn't mean that whoever comes up behind him isn't just going to continue his policies. So I guess time will tell. If I was an Israeli or more well-versed in Israeli politics, I'd probably have a much more detailed position on that, but I just don't know.
It's hard to even talk about it on YouTube. Like that one Flash Friday you guys did, bringing up Israel got age restricted. So
Yeah, I know. We literally did what every news organization was doing and covered the Israeli-Palestinian conflict that was going on and the bombing that was going on in Palestine and shit. And YouTube, age restriction is basically one step before they ban you. It's like one step before they remove your video and give you a strike. So it's just like, it's a world event. There are probably 10,000 channels on YouTube that are considered to be actual media channels covering the same exact shit. But because we're not one of those, when you listen to us talk about what's going on in the world, you have to click your age restriction. I'm over 18. I'm over 18. I'm over 18. That is one step before them just nuking your video and giving you a community guideline strike. So for us, the writing on the wall is, don't cover this shit. If you want to keep your channel, don't cover this shit. And that's, look at that. Look how that is. Yeah, Paul, but are you a rich news organization that gives YouTube money to discriminate against small channels? No, we're not. It's a form of gatekeeping, right? Well, it's a form of trying to preserve the hegemony of the corporate news media. That's what it's about. It's about trying to preserve this idea, which is already gone from the American fucking psyche, that the news is some kind of authoritative thing that we go to. People long ago started going for their news to people who aren't necessarily affiliated with a giant news organization. They started getting their news from people like me. Bloggers, vloggers, bread tubers, lefties, righties, people that want to look at a fucking issue and put their spin on it. People long ago started going to that rather than the news media. You know who watches the news media? You know who watches CNN, Fox News, MSNBC? People that are like 55 and older. That's their demographic now. If you watch those shows, the shit that comes on as commercials, like if you watch CNN now, which I don't recommend that you do, by the way, but if you were to spend a day watching CNN, the commercials that come on are almost all stuff that's for geriatric people. It's like anti-fucking arthritis drug. It's a fucking catheter system. It's a fucking
Grabber.
Yeah, the grabber. Yeah, thing that will help you reach high things, supplements for old people, just all kinds of different things. Drugs for incontinence, and talk to your doctor if you have incontinence. Selectra might be able to help you. It's all literally just ancient old people watching it. So the new generation of folks, 55 and younger, have long ago turned to alternate sources of media to get the nuance that they're looking for. And so that's all it is. YouTube is trying to help preserve the money-making machine that is the news media. They want the news media to have, like they did back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, an absolute monopoly on the truth. A monopoly on everything that goes on in the fucking world and the spin on it. And having people like me, who are not journalists, but just normal people who follow the news, give their opinions on it is dangerous. Because it fucks with this idea that the journalists have some kind of ability to do the news that we don't. right? Which is ridiculous. We can read a news story. We can up our IQ on geopolitical events and have a discussion about the news just as well as fucking Chris Cuomo can. Just as well as fucking any of these pundits can. Although they have Pelmont.
I think part of it too is you guys are demonetized and already had like previous strikes. That's probably why they were
due to the same shit.
Yeah.
Due to the same shit. We covered a news story about a rabbi saying that it was okay for Jews to eat lab-grown pork, and that functionally disabled our channel for 6 months. We couldn't live stream on DFF for 6 months because we covered a story about a Jewish rabbi who said, you know what? It doesn't come from a pig. Kosher. Can be viewed as a way to control distortion of misinformation. COVID has opened the door for further control of the truth.
Well, you guys have covered COVID a bunch of times and not been fucked with.
Yeah, I mean we covered COVID early. Like we were one of the first channels. Like Scotty made an episode about COVID-19 and how scary it was months before the outbreak and lockdown started to happen. So we covered COVID really early on and all the way through it. We've already been demonetized. Our channel has not been monetized for over 2 years now. It got demonetized way back when during the Jewish pork debacle because we covered a news story. And since then, we have not been able to make a dime of ad revenue on the channel. Luckily for us, our monetization strategy does not include ad revenue. So would be nice.
Yeah, the last time you were able to get super chats was that 24-hour stream, I think.
Mm-hmm. It would be nice to be able to fucking get super chats on our live streams. It would be nice to be able to fucking, you know what I mean? Have that as another way that people can support us, but not on our channel. We're too hot for YouTube. Because reasons, I guess. It's coercing you into not talking about it. Yes, exactly. Why have super chats? You don't need them. I mean, why pick up $1 on the ground? You don't need it. What are you talking about? That'd be like at your job, you know, if somebody came along and was like, hey, dude, you can make an extra bit of scratch on the side if you do this. You'd be like, make an extra bit of scratch on the side? I don't need it. It's like, all right. What would you do if became president tomorrow? I'd find out where the football was. You know what the football is? The football is code for the nuclear launch laptop. I'd find out where that motherfucker was immediately, and I would keep it with me. I'd have it sitting next to me every time I addressed the nation, and I'd be like, just kidding, guys. Maybe. Almost launched the nukes. Just letting you know, they're right here. See this key? If I turn this key to the left and I put in my 4-digit code, the nukes launch. Oh, I just turned the key. Oh, that's not my code. Got to keep them on the toes, yeah. Got to let them. Got to make them realize the power of that political position, so that when I'm finally termed out, probably after one term or maybe even removed by Congress for being dangerous, people realize after I've left office that they shouldn't just willy-nilly elect the president. Yeah, dude. The abusive relationship president. My fellow Americans, I think we all know where this is going, so let's just skip to the end. This is the football. I got the key right here. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Where do you guys think we should nuke? I'm looking at the live stream here. Who gets nuked first? Texas? Oh, that's interesting. I didn't expect one from inside the United States. We'll write that one down, though. Texas, yeah. That's a good one. Just gaslighting with every, like I do a presidential address every day. There would be an hour and a half long presidential Highdeology every day that would make people fucking terrified of what I was gonna do. Oh my God, it would be great. Oh yeah, the Saudis, dude. I would immediately executive order, like, not a dollar to the Saudis. Executive order. Saudi Arabia doesn't get a peso from us. I'd throw the whole geopolitical fucking system into complete disarray. I'd take care of the goddamn fucking Israel situation as well. Not that I can talk about how, but I'd take care of it. Let's just say that America would have another fucking territory when I was done. Vote for Paul. Yeah, dude, it would be an interesting 4 years. I'll give you that. The annexation of Israel, yes. The two-state solution? No. The United States solution? Yes. State number 53, baby. Here we come. What would you do to the Holy Land? I would take the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the Dome of the Rock, and I would literally carve that motherfucker in half. Half of it would be Jewish, half of it would be Palestinian, and they could decorate it however they want. They got to share, all right? Share and share alike. Climate change, nuclear winter will do that real quick. Share and share alike. Nah, that would be target one for the nuke. Can't fight over land until after the fallout. There would be no fight, though. We're America. I mean, like, yeah, there might be a little skirmish or something, but not a fight. We just take it. We just show up and we're like, ah, yes, we're here to do a military exercise with Israel. And then we're like, yeah, the military exercise is a coup. You're now the 53rd state. You wrote me in last election. Damn, I didn't win. I didn't win.
Would you consider that equivalent to no confidence if people wrote you in?
Sure. Write my ass in. I'll show you some real no confidence. Yeah, why not? Write in somebody. I don't care. Vote for a fucking third party if that's what your conscience tells you to do. As long as you're not supporting the RNC or DNC, you're a friend of mine. Hi, this is Paul Zigo, your president, and today we continue on our road to 100 states. Yep. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we will be claiming a state that has been hanging out in the ocean for a long time and begging us for help. Great Britain will become Great America. We left there over 200 years ago to escape their tyranny, and now it's finally time for them to pay the piper. So Great Britain, good news for you. You don't have to worry about the European Union because you're now going to be a part of the American Union. That's right. Just try it. You don't want to fucking poke that bear, bro. You really don't want to poke that bear. We spend 3 times the amount on the military of the largest second military in the world. We will fucking crater you out.
We fucking saved their asses.
Yeah, we do what you guys should have done fucking years ago and march that old crusty queen and that weird fucking vampiric fucking family out into the public square, put them in the stocks, let people throw tomatoes at them for a couple of days, and then release them into the world as non-royals. Go make a fucking living. I'd take care of that shit for you guys. Faux show. I'd be a benevolent dictator. Best of luck. Go live as the people that you fucking lorded over live now. I heard there's a fish and chips shop down there in the corner that's looking for part-time help. You might want to head down that way. That might be a good direction to head. See ya. No more stipend for you. No more Buckingham Palace. That's now a museum for people to walk through and enjoy all the fucking shit that you got to enjoy. Your ass is now just a citizen. You're a citizen with an interesting last name. Get out there. Fish and chips, motherfucker. Fish and chips. Get me a nice piece of haddock. I want it crispy, golden fried, nice side of chips. Thanks, Prince Harry. Oh yeah, fish and French fries. You're right. After we take over, there will be no more chips. It'll be fried fish and French fries. Yeah, give me the tartar sauce too. Prince Harry can cook a mean piece of haddock. I'll tell you that, man. He was wasted on that prince duty. What about the queen? She's a little old to have to work, so she gets to go into a fucking home. Put the queen in a home where everybody tells her what to do and her day is planned for her and she got to play shuffleboard and shit and live with actual old people. She doesn't get waited on and have her shoes put on for her every goddamn day. She gets a nice little room. The prince, fish and chips. Fish and chips. Nah, no more bangers and mash. It's sausage and mashed potatoes. Bangers and mash. We invented curry too, didn't we? No. You just stole that from your fucking imperialistic bullshit in India. Your shithole fucking country led a brutal Raj regime for like 100 years in India and stole all their food.
That's how you know the Brits fucking suck, is that one of them thinks they invented curry.
Yeah. Like, oh, we invented curry, didn't we? No, you stole that like you stole every goddamn fucking thing else. From people that can actually cook and think. Jesus Christ.
Just for that, you get the gulag for a day.
Yep, that's a gulag, man. That's a trip to the ghoul. Going straight to the booty house for that one. I know you were joking. I'm joking too. Just in case anybody was wondering, this is a joke. I don't advocate for the military operation that I'm talking about. Gordon Ramsay knows how to cook. Yeah, he knows how to cook because he learned how to cook from a French person. He escaped Yuckmouth Island, where all you know how to cook is haddock and chips, and he got trained by a Frenchman that knows how to cook. That's why he knows how to cook. Yeah. What does British food even look like? I'll tell you this, from what I've seen, it looks like somebody ate it and shit it out already. It looks like it's been eaten once already. It's just like a pile of flop, like a turd sticking out of it. That's bangers and mash. They just put like a big pile of gravy covered mashed potatoes and they have fucking sausage turds sticking in it. It's gross. Yeah, baked beans. Ugh. Ugh. Ever had a full English breakfast? No. And the reason for that is I live in America and a full American breakfast is available. So why would I downgrade to an English muffin and like black fucking pudding and blood sausage? No, thank you, bro. We actually have shit here where we can eat actual animal meat. We don't have to cook the offal from other people's shit and make it into meat. Yeah, dude. Get a Grand Slam and shut up. For sure. Go down to Denny's and get yourself a fucking Grand Slam. Some steak and eggs sounds godly right now. Steak and eggs godly all the time. Biscuits and gravy, godly all the time. Pancakes and fucking bacon and sausage, godly every day, all the time. Scrambled eggs, godly all the time.
Yeah. That's the other thing that needs to be corrected. Fucking Brit's obscene definition of biscuit.
Oh yeah, your little hard bread things that you call a biscuit. Get it out of here. It's not a biscuit. Biscuit is a big, fluffy, warm, buttery, goddamn fucking pillow of food. A pillow of food. Biscuits. Pfft. People are begging for it. You're begging for us to come over and take you over. Tea and the crumpets. Crisps. Oh my god, those are chips, bro. I like American flapjacks. Yeah. Their biscuits are the crap we fed Civil War soldiers. Yeah, cram. That's what that shit used to be called, cram. Because all you could do is cram it in your hole and chew it and swallow it and hope that it took the edge off your hunger. Hard tack, yeah. They're over there eating that shit for breakfast. That's what we give our fucking soldiers when they're in the field. Hobnobs? What the fuck is a hobnob? Sounds like shit. What fast food place do you think has the best biscuits? I think it's Popeyes. Soft and salty, great with honey. Yeah, Popeyes have got a pretty decent biscuit. I don't really like anything else from Popeyes, but I do like their biscuits and mashed potatoes. So I'd say like fast food wise, it's your best bet. But for biscuits, like I always try and find like a little greasy spoon diner. Like we've got one around here we order from quite often for breakfast stuff. Then their biscuits and gravy are just fucking unbelievable. You can tell that they're just handmade, beautifully made flour biscuits, all golden brown and buttery, ladled with some white country gravy. Yum, yum, yum. Hardee's, no, sorry. Hardee's biscuits, not great. Which restaurant serves the best French fries? Well, fast food-wise, that has always been Checkers or Rally's, depending on where you're at. I think it's Rally's on the West Coast and Checkers on the East and South. Nothing else there is worth eating, but their fucking fries are like a revelation. They do these beer-battered, spicy fries that are fried in peanut oil. And they come out super duper crisp and salty on the outside and real fluffy and soft on the inside. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm down with that. I would let them keep the cool shit. Like, I think it's super cool that in Britain, they allow for the fact that teenagers of the age of 16 or so are probably going to want to have a beer here and there, and they let them do it legally. It's cool in Britain. If you want to go have a beer at 16, you can walk into a pub, order a pint. I'm fine with that. You guys can keep that rule.
Isn't it like a conditional age though? Like you can't have like you can't buy hard liquor or something at 16.
I don't know. I always thought that they could drink at home.
Yeah.
At that age, but I learned a while back, and I may be wrong, that at 16, you can actually go into a pub and get a pint of like beer. And then, yeah, maybe later on you can get the hard liquor shit.
Okay, so it's 18 for hard shit.
16 is only legal with a meal in a pub. So you have to go to the pub and get like some disgusting British food and a pint. And you got to have your parents with you. Fuck that shit. That's not even a cool rule. It's not as cool as I thought it was. I thought you could just, as a 16-year-old, stroll up in a fucking pub and be like, "Oi, give me a pint, mate." I'd be like, "All right, I'm gonna need to see your ID." "I'm 16, me bruv." Seems that you are. One frosty pint coming up for our 16-year-old patron. It's not like that, huh? That sucks.
Oh yeah, if the drinking age is 18 for hard liquor, then 16-year-olds can get it like that.
Oh yeah.
Anything that's 18 automatically includes 16-year-olds, kind of by proxy.
Of course. I mean, it's not like it's 21 here and fucking 16-year-olds are getting liquored up every day. So it's like, you know. You can go to bars at 16 in Spain. I know because I did it. That's cool. Yeah, maybe when we take them over, we can have one last tea party, but we'll do it in like the English Channel. We'll take every bit of tea in the British Isles and we will put it on a big aircraft carrier and just push it into the ocean. We'll brew up some tea. We know how these Brits fucking love the tea party. You know, they love having tea. They love that Boston Tea Party. Push all that tea into the ocean. Just brew up a big old nice fucking cup of Earl Grey right there in the English Channel.
We need even fancier than tea than that. We need to get that Darjeeling in there and shit.
Yep, all of it. All the chai. Shove it off the fucking port. Turn the ocean into tea. Yeah, brew a big tea in the ocean.
Well, yeah, wasn't the drinking age like contingent upon like funding for something else? Like when they raised it to 21.
I can't remember. There was some skullduggery about it though. Maybe the tea will counter the acidification. Maybe so. Maybe the fish down there will enjoy a cup of the old chai. You don't know. You don't know.
Dude, when we were doing like science experiments in school, there was like an unhealthy obsession with planting plants and coffee.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Did you
of
ever
course.
see that?
Yes. We did that little thing too. Mandate a Starbucks on every corner. We don't even have to do that. Great Britain already has that. Like, that's the great thing about this eventual takeover of the British Isles that we're talking about, is that we've already, our fingerprints are already all over the British Isles. Let me ask you a question. When's the last time you went to a British chain restaurant as an American? I'll wait. Old Mulvaney's, right? No, there is no such thing. They don't have a culture that reaches outside their shitty little island, and our culture has completely and utterly fucking taken theirs over. There's a McDonald's on every corner. There's a Starbucks right across from it. It's basically America Light over there already. We're your children, and yeah, like the master has fucking fallen to the apprentice. You should have parented us better. Because now we have nothing but fucking angst for our parents, as most children do. We grow up and, you know, there's a rift that grows between child and parent, and you've allowed that to happen. And now we're coming. Now you're eating our food, you're drinking our drinks, you're listening to our music, and you're watching our movies, and you're doing it happily because there's just nothing like that in your country.
fuck that formal English.
American English is the international standard, and you know this. The Queen's English is done. Sidelined. It's a dying language. American English, dominant the world across. It's the language of business all over the world. The British are America's DLC, yeah. Fuck that. We got the best of them. We got Meghan and Harry. Look how pissed off, like, the royals are at Meghan and Harry for coming over here and being American. Hell fucking yeah. No, that's not a bad thing. We got Meghan and Harry.
I mean, Meghan was already ours. She just
right.
subsumed Harry.
Yeah. Meghan was an undercover fucking American agent who went over there, practiced her pussy voodoo on fucking Prince Harry, and brought him over here and Americanized his ass. We worked our wiles. We sent a beautiful, sexy American woman over there to completely and utterly fucking destroy your line of succession and bring it all the way back over here. Wrong way around. How so? Hold on. Where's Meghan Markle and Prince Harry right now? West Chesterfordshire, right? No. Los Angeles. What's that about, bro? Why are your royals running away from your beautiful fucking island to come here and be fucking average Americans? I'm a prince and I'm a princess. Nah, fuck that. We just want to be American. What about that, bruv?
Oh yeah, fucking George Washington could rise from the dead. He'd like fucking give her a pat on the back, like fuck yeah, Meghan.
Yeah, he would. Be like, that's what we're talking about. Where in relation to the camera is Amelia sitting? I thought she was sitting across from you, but apparently she can read the chat. Yeah,
I also have a phone.
Yeah, there's this crazy thing called a cell phone. I have one and she has one. You know, so she can read. It's crazy. She's right over there. She's sitting kitty corner to me and reading the chat on her own. What is this sorcery? Meghan is 200 years of royal revenge. Yes. Yes, the royals, the ultimate welfare kings and queens, indeed. I know, the crazy technology that we have in Cali. It's nuts.
Dude, what if it was like a Benny Gesserit operation?
Yeah, dude. The, what do they call it? The Missionata Protectiva.
It's fucking shaped and molded Meghan's bloodline.
Yep. She is the Kwisatz Haderach. What in tarnation is cellar phone? What? Should I ban you?
Unless a Brit can come up with an answer right now in 30 seconds, then...
It's over. Should turn the British Isle into one big Amazon warehouse. Nah, dude, nah. That's not how you treat an island. Amazon warehouse, we do that internally. Once we, like, take over Europe, then we put, like, Central Europe just becomes Amazon. Amazonia, we'll call it, right? But the British Isles, we've got to do something fun with them. I'm thinking, like, a giant, like, American, fucking theme park. That's what I'm thinking. Like, just endless roller coasters, rides, resorts. Just an American fucking, like a county fair that happens every day so you can get churros. You know what I mean? Yeah, just a giant Disney island. Just put a big giant Disney island there. The people that live there all have to work for the Disney Corp. They have to work in the giant, you know, and like everywhere you go, it's just like another roller coaster area, you know? Ultimate Disney / Six Flags, right? It's crazy. Yeah, oh, well, you know, we could have all that, Iscariot. We could have, like, an old Western-themed area. We can have, like, a like a super American themed area where everything's like the Screaming Eagle and the Stars and Stripes, you know, and then we could have like just you know, all of it, just like a whole fucking line of all of the American shitty food. We could have like a whole area like Epcot, but bigger, where it's just nothing but like McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, fucking Chipotle, everything that you guys eat anyway. You get a little flag when you order that you can wave around, a little American flag. Boom. I'm telling you, man, don't waste the British Isles.
Mark their children with temporary tattoos.
Yep.
Everyone gets an American flag.
If you're actually there, you have to wear like a crumpet pin, you know, like, or a glass of tea, so that everybody knows that you're not a tourist, that you're actually an employee, so that they can ask you, you know. Excuse me, sir, could you point me towards the American land? And be like, oh, yes, sir, that's going to be 14 miles straight up the I-4. Thank you. I love it, dude. I love it.
Oh, fuck yeah. American spelling only.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck these unnecessary U's and shit.
American spelling, American speech only. No more of this fucking slang, Cockney shit. Let's just get this straight, though. In all seriousness, in World War II, the Yanks basically waited until every other nation had bankrupted themselves before they turn up and claim it was a victory. I mean, yeah. We let you guys try and handle it on your own until it became apparent that you couldn't. And then the eagle soared. Right? They can't handle it themselves, guys. We better go fucking pull their asses out of the fire. Here comes the eagle. Beat them Nazis right back, huh? You better be thankful. You'd be goose stepping right now and wearing a little fucking Hitler stash if it wasn't for us. You'd be like walking to work like all. You better thank us. You better kiss our fucking feet. You'd be eating wiener schnitzels and bratwurst right now, motherfucker. Let the eagle soar.
That tripped me out about Lord of the Rings.
What?
That the eagle was meant to be America.
Yeah. The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit are basically like Tolkien working through World War II. So it's based in World War II. And the Eagles are the Americans. And that's why they only show up at the last minute. In the Battle of Five Armies and The Hobbit, it's the Eagles that show up right when things look darkest and turn the tide of the battle. In The Lord of the Rings, it's an eagle that saves Gandalf from the top of the Tower of Isengard, and it's the Eagles at the very end that come to save Sam and fucking Frodo after they've tossed the ring. It's the Eagles. It's America. They show up, they beat everything, they destroy everything, and they save Middle-earth once again. What do you mean, oh please? This is actually from the writings of your native son, J.R.R. Tolkien. The entire work, starting with The Hobbit through The Lord of the Rings, is a parable for World War II, and the Eagles represent America. And it is the Eagles that win The Hobbit, and it's the Eagles that win The Lord of the Rings. Your own native son. The Shire is basically England, yes. I'm impressive that he managed to write a parable for World War II in 1937. Well, World War I then.
That dude, he was smart enough to write Elvish. Of course, he's smart enough to look into the future.
Of course. Let the eagle soar. America beats Sauron. America beats everything. We should annex Canada and make America look bigger. It doesn't need to look bigger. We've already got Canada. Canada is already a fucking province of the United States. People don't realize this. Like, we let them pretend that they have their own shit up there, but when it comes down and the whip needs to be cracked and we need them on our side for this, that, or the other thing, they fall in line just like everybody else. We allow them a little fucking autonomy or whatever, but if you go up to fucking Canada, it's just America up there. What we do with Quebec? I mean, I don't know. Give it back to the French. America's hat, yeah.
Yeah, we just got to get rid of their stupid queen play money.
Yeah, they got like they're trust me, they're not gonna want the queen on their money when we're done with her. She's gonna be working at a fish and chip shop. That's not exactly, doesn't have the gravitas of a queen anymore. You think things would be better if we just opened the border with Mexico? Yes. I honestly do. I think things would be better if we started facing the migration crisis now and coming up with ways to accept these people that are coming here and allow them to add their contribution to the American story. That is the story of America. America is a country of immigrants. And for us to try and shut the door to immigrants at a time when the world is fucking burning is profoundly anti-American, in my opinion. We should absolutely open the border with Mexico. We should open the border with Canada. We should allow people a direct path to seek asylum here. And if they should choose to settle here, we should allow them a direct path to that as well. Have to legalize drugs too, yes. I agree. Definitely have to do that. I'm down with that. I'm all about that, yo. Blow the borders wide open. Allow our influence to because when you have to understand, when you're talking about a flow of people between nations, right? It's not a one-way flow. The influence of those people coming across the border and then oftentimes traveling back across the border, right? To visit their families, to bring their prosperity back home. This creates a culture where American values are expressed without ever having to push them, right? And so the idea of Mexico being an autonomous state, if we open the border, that would fade away with time. Slowly but surely, Mexico would become subsumed by the United States political climate. The same thing would happen with Canada. They would maintain some kind of provincial authority. But overall, we say jump, they say how high. And that, my friends, is a good thing. That is a move towards globalization. Once we have Mexico, right, we could go for Central America, South America. We could start to do some of these things that we're talking about, right? Unifying the globe under one human species rather than these different cultures constantly at odds with one another.
Because right now, the borders are just making pressure cookers.
Yeah. They're just, and then it's going to get worse too. It's like a pressure cooker that's already over pressure waiting to blow, but we're just turning the pressure up past max now. Because every day, more and more people from Central and South America and Southern Mexico and Central Mexico are making their way in giant caravans to the fucking American border. They're engaging fucking illegal means to cross that border every fucking day. And it's an issue that is not going to be fixed militaristically. There is absolutely no way that America can maintain any kind of moral rectitude and shoot people at our border. So open it up. Let them come in. Let's find a home for them. Let's make a tax base with them. Let's make them Americans. Let's put them to work. Let's give them a fucking life here. Let's give them a place that they can come. And thus neuter some of these dictatorships and shit down south.
It's not like we don't have room. Like, we need to build a bunch of infrastructure, but it's not like we don't have the land mass.
We've
to
got more
hold
than enough.
people.
We've got more than enough room. It's just a matter of allocating the funds. So instead of writing that $200 billion check to Raytheon, you allocate those funds for building, low-income housing, cleaning up inner cities, creating opportunity, creating commerce, etc. Right? America used to believe that its strength was immigrants. You can see this reflected in the poem stanza that is available at the feet of the Statue of Liberty, which was the symbol of American acceptance of the immigrant. I don't remember the whole thing, but give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I light my lamp beside the golden door. That's what I remember of the poem. I think that is the stanza that is at the base of the Statue of Liberty. This was a very real belief in America for a long time, and that's not to say that we treated immigrants well. We didn't. Irishmen came here, Scotch came here, people from Europe came here, Dutch. They were all fucking treated like shit. But in the course of that, slowly but surely, they became Americans. They brought their unique color, their unique culture here. So it wasn't perfect the way that we treated immigrants back then. We had a way more progressive idea about allowing people to come here and add their strength to us. And that's gone now. Now we've entered this nationalistic protectionism kind of thing where both sides of the political aisle are about militarizing the border. That's fundamentally, in my mind, anti-American.
Think of how much better like shit like Kansas and Nebraska would be if we just filled those motherfuckers up.
Right? I need more coffee. Whoa.
You got a straw in your ear. Come here. Come here, put a straw off your ear. Mr. Velcro fur here.
Oh, dang.
Where's your ball?
Are you a baller today? You gonna give it to me? Or you just want to show it to me? Are you just showing off, you ball? You gotta get it. I'll bring it over here. The war on drugs needs to end. We can also tax the hell out of these drugs, and it will help fund. Yes, I agree. Decriminalize drugs. Add a sin tax to the ones that are not completely and utterly destructive, and provide a way to give people doses of the more destructive ones without being criminals. Take the money that is currently allocated for law enforcement fighting the influx of drugs into this country and repurpose that money for drug rehabilitation, drug education, etc. Yes.
Make those cops fill in potholes and shit.
Yeah. Give them something to do. Let them be public servants. Public is not being served by filling our prison system with drug addicts. Should we legalize sex works and tax that too? That would be pretty cool. Absolutely. I think we're behind the ball on that. And I think that to a certain extent, sex work is already legal in this country. They found a way around it with OnlyFans and shit. This is the generation of amateur porn created directly for people. That's sex work, right? So this is being done nationally and internationally now, and it's a huge fucking business. So to ignore the fact that people want to pay money to be titillated, or in some cases pay money to to be fucked or to fuck someone, you're not going to change that. That is something that has existed ever since barter and trade existed. They call prostitution the oldest profession for a reason. It was likely the first barter and exchange that ever happened in human history. There was probably a prostitute before there was any other kind of job description. So this idea that we're going to somehow fucking make that a thing of the past is wrong. There are plenty of people out there who want to work in sex work, who enjoy it, who seek it out, and there are plenty of people out there who want to enjoy the fruits of sex work.
I mean, just porn in general is prostitution with extra steps.
Yeah. I mean, pornography as it exists is sex work. And pornography is legal in all 52 states and pretty much the world over. Right? So that's sex work. That's people fucking for money. The only difference between that type of sex work and prostitution is instead of fucking another professional fucker, they're fucking a member of the public. So all you have to do in order to legalize this is set some common sense regulations on the transaction. Age limits, obviously. You have to be 21 to be a prostitute. Boom. Nail it in, lock it in. The organizations that house you, so the brothels, have to meet a certain minimum standard of cleanliness. They have to meet a certain minimum standard of disease testing. So if you're working as a prostitute, you have to be tested regularly for diseases. You have to have, proof that you are clean, obviously, because you don't want brothels to be a place where people get AIDS and chlamydia and fucking all this shit, right?
Well, like a lot of prostitutes already have that kind of infrastructure where, like, they'll have like cards, like, yeah, I got tested this recently.
Right. Especially in places where prostitution is already legal, like Nevada. That they have all of these regulations. These brothels are inspected routinely to make sure that they're clean and sanitary, and the testing status of all of the people that work in these brothels is published and available, and all of that shit. That's all you have to do. Make sure that people aren't being trafficked into it. Because right now, because it's illegal, what happens is in these states where prostitution is illegal, but there's still a demand for it, people are trafficked into it. So what happens is people go and get somebody hooked on drugs, get a young woman hooked on drugs, and then turn her out and put her on the street to satisfy this demand for prostitution. And that ends up being, obviously, a disgusting fucking way to live. You don't have those protections that I'm talking about. People that work as lot lizards or street prostitutes are often riddled with disease because they just have to be. No matter how careful you are, if you're not testing and you're not being proactive about it, you're going to catch some shit. You're going to be exploited. You're going to be beaten, possibly even raped. These types of things happen to sex workers in these environments where there's a vacuum because it's illegal. So it's not like prostitution isn't happening in Kansas. It's just that prostitutes in Kansas are trafficked by pimps. And they have no legal protections. Everything is done underground. The answer is clear. Legalize and regulate. Period. Customers would also need to be tested as well. Absolutely. Anybody that's, I'm all for that. If you want to be somebody who's a sex tourist or whatever, or you want to come and fucking run around in the brothels and shit, you've got a card too saying that you've been tested recently. I'm all for that shit. Why not? It's not just for the protection of the John that these women are, or the people that work in these brothels are tested. It's for their protection as well, right? So that they don't walk around with a disease, spread a disease.
Like, already we're having a problem with, like, fucking STDs and shit. Like, gonorrhea's coming back and shit.
Oh, yeah. Chlamydia, gonorrhea, all of these things are coming back because people have, like...
stopped caring.
Right, because the AIDS generation is over. Now, AIDS is something that if you catch it, you live a normal life. They've almost got it to the point where it's like you don't even have it. And they're almost to the point where they're going to have a fucking AIDS vaccine. So it's just like all of this shit about safe sex that was so prevalent when I was a child because AIDS was killing people by the fucking score is gone now. Now it's raw dog, because nobody cares anymore.
Yeah, it's absolutely fucking insane that you got taught like 20 years before I did about condoms, and I didn't.
You didn't get any of it. You didn't. Nobody showed you how to put one on or use
Or
one.
even see one.
See one, make it available to you so that you know, like 20 years before you were in school, I could go into the nurse's office and get a handful of condoms, no question asked. Nurse would just say, "Yep, here you go. Be careful. You know how to use these?" "Yes." "Okay, go ahead."
I mean, I would get my tubes tied if Paul wasn't infertile. That's not what guys do. Guys don't get tubes tied.
No. And like, to be honest with you, down the road a piece, just to make sure, I might go get a vasectomy. I would do that before I had her get her tubes tied. It's a way more invasive surgery to sterilize a woman than it is a man. So I could, you know, go down and just make absolutely doubly sure that one of the billion sperm that I produce that is healthy doesn't make its way up there and I get an oopsie baby, you know what I mean? But to be honest with you, the fucking fertility specialists that I've been to and shit have told me that it would be a fucking miracle. Both of them used that terminology. That would basically be like winning the lotto and getting struck by lightning twice on the same day. You know what I mean? It's just not going to happen for me. I have a catastrophically low sperm count, and the ones that I do produce, most of them are not functional. They're not formed properly. I've got weird sperm.
We have a better chance of winning that vaccine lotto in California.
Yeah, we do. We got a chance at that shit. Dude, I read a story today about how the South is going to get fucking punched up. COVID is coming back in the South this summer. The Delta variant of it, which is covered by the, the vaccine, is going to come back in a big way in the South because vaccination levels down there are just pitiful. Like, it's estimated that somewhere between 20 and 30% of adults in some southern states have gotten their first dose. So it's going to be a huge, giant fucking, and of course, even as the North and the Midwest and the East have better vaccination rates than the South, it's still going to cause another fucking outbreak of it because not everybody is vaccinated, right? So you have the whole South that's going to be eaten alive with it, and then people are going to travel into the fucking non-South, and it's going to get eaten alive with it. Woo-ha. I think I remember Cynic trying to say that the vaccine sterilizes you. If only. I know. Seriously. If only. South is such a shithole these days. It's been a shithole for a long time. I think we'll be experiencing flurries of code for the next few years till it dies out or whatever. It's not going to die out. It's going to become like the common cold or the flu. It'll be back every fucking year. At this rate, these anti-vaxxers should get outright threatened to get the vax. I'm absolutely done with their garbage. I'm fully with you. I honestly think that we need a national vaccine mandate. We need Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to step up executive order for a national vaccine mandate that includes fines if you don't get vaccinated, and then if you put it off for too long, you take too many fines, 2 to 3 fines or some shit, the cops come visit you, and you are taken down to the police office to get your one-off shot and then released on your own recognizance after you're vaccinated. That's the way, I fully support that. As authoritarian as that sounds, in order to save fucking lives and end this here in this country, we need people on board. And if these dumb fucks are not going to get on board, they're going to take their little fucking 2-year-old stand in the mud and use that as a reason to infect other people's grandmas and moms and shit with their stupidity. Sorry. Give them a choice. You have 2 weeks to immigrate out of the United States and see if there's another country that'll take your unvaccinated ass, or get your ass down and get vaccinated. And if you don't do one of those two things, a cop is going to come knock on your door, hook you up and put you in the back of a roller, take you into the fucking infirmary at the local county jail, strap you down to a chair, give you your one shot, monitor you for 15 minutes to make sure you don't have an anaphylactic reaction, and then send you home. Bye-bye.
There's a pretty good precedent being set now. Like a Texas judge just shot down a lawsuit that some hospital employees were doing for having mandatory vaccinations. So That's a good sign.
Yep.
Hopefully more of those happen where they support businesses requiring their employees to get vaccinated.
Just suspend social benefits like Australia. It worked there. It worked in Australia because there's an actual social safety net in Australia. It wouldn't work here. Suspending social benefits, most people live under a paradigm of suspended social benefit here, so it doesn't work. Vaccine mandate isn't even a limitation of freedom. It's an expansion of your liberty to avoid getting sick with something that'll kill you, right? Then you wouldn't have to book an appointment, right? You would just have to pay a fat fine. So everybody else that books an appointment gets it for free. You get 2 $500 fines and then a free trip to the county jail, which also comes with a fine because you get to pay that officer and the fucking support staff for their time having to vaccinate you. So yeah, you can choose the free way or you can choose the expensive way, but either way, you still get your shot. How widespread are anti-vaxxers in the police force? I don't know.
I mean, like, there's probably a lot of adjacent people that got sick because, like, the prisons were fucked and they're in the same unit.
I know that the people that I know that are adjacent to prison stuff and cop stuff are all vaccinated, 100%. They don't fuck around. I know somebody that got COVID, got really sick with it, and then as soon as he could, went down and got vaccinated for it. This is a Republican, by the way. So you need to understand, this is a very small enclave of dumbasses that need to be dealt with because each one person that's an anti-vaxxer is a danger to their community. This is not just an opinion, not just a political stance that they're taking. It's not like a little freedom fucking exercise. This is them being vectors for disease in their community. It cannot be allowed. Round them up, give them the shot, or give them the opportunity to get the fuck out of the United States. Devil's advocate. It's federally mandated to take a shot, and if you die from the shot, can you sue the government? I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
They already have the vaccine injury compensation program.
Yep.
That already exists.
Yep. The amount of people that have adverse reactions to this shot is so far below the amount of people that die from COVID that it's not even worth fucking... Like, obviously, if you're a person that has anaphylaxis and you have a medical excuse, you don't have to get fucking vaccinated. There are people out there with compromised immune systems or heavy fucking anaphylactic allergies to the components of a lot of the things that they shoot into you, right? If that's you, you don't have to die.
Like, I don't even think it's the immune compromise that get trouble with the vaccine. The problem with the immune compromise is it doesn't work as well.
Right. Well, the idea is that there is a very small proportion of humanity that are, for some reason, anaphylactically fucking adverse to the shot. If that's you, you don't have to take it. That's like 0.01% of the population. We're fine. Most of the people who are anti-vaxxers are completely healthy, completely capable of getting the vaccine. They're just choosing not to, like toddlers. So it's time to deal with them like you deal with a toddler. What do if a toddler wants to touch the stove and you know it's going to hurt them? Or a toddler wants to start a fire in your house, right? You don't let that happen. You snatch that toddler up and you correct the problem. So these people are acting like toddlers. They're refusing to admit that they are destructive to their communities and that they propagate a deadly disease that killed over 500,000 people in this country last year. They are a public health problem, and they must be dealt with as such. No more of this like, go get the vaccine, please. No. You're not vaccinated. If you're not on the rolls by a certain dead drop date, guess what? You get a big fat fine in the mail. You don't pay it, you get another one. You don't show up, get your vaccination papers, you get another one. And then once you got 2 or 3 of those under your belt, you paid $500 3 times, you're $1,500 in, you get another $1,500 fine because you've wasted a cop's time and a nurse's time at the fucking county to give you a shot that you could have gone and gotten for free at a Walgreens. So now you're $3,000 in the hole and you've got your one-off shot. And you can bitch about it and call Alex Jones about the fucking authoritarianism, the globalism, all you want. You can crybaby all you want. At least your crybabying isn't loaded with little droplets of death. So you can go snivel and whine about it, make your little 4chan enclave and blah, 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 blah. But functionally, your ass isn't going to be a danger to the people around you anymore, and that's what I care about.
I fucking hate these people that say, like, oh, just let all the anti-vaxxers die. It's like, no.
It's not them that die. They don't die. The anti-vaxxers don't die. They grab the fucking virus and pass it to somebody who's compromised, and that person dies. So this isn't about protecting them. I give a fuck about them. If there was a button I could push to make every anti-vaxxer die horribly of COVID right now, I'd do it. Boom. Dead. Every one of them on a fucking respirator, croaking out in the fucking hospital. But I can't do that. So guess what? Guess what it is, bro? Time to get the cops involved.
That and just allowing it to spread allows it to mutate more. And
Yep. They're a danger from fucking 5 different fucking angles. Danger for community spread, danger for viral transmission, danger for viral mutation. This is not just a little fucking opinion. Okay? This is a public health crisis. So if you're able to get it, you get it. We make it as easy as possible for you. I could walk right into a fucking Walgreens right now if I wasn't shot up and get it. For free. Can't make it more easy than that. Go to a Walmart, go to a Walgreens, go to your public health department, make a fucking appointment at the hospital. There are 15 different fucking ways that your average person can go get this shot for free. So if you're not going to do that, your ass is getting fined, policed. And then guess what? At the end of that process, you're going to be about $3,000 poorer, and you're not going to be spreading the disease. You're going to be nice and shot up. And that's it. Cops show up, anti-vaxxer stop shooting. This totally wouldn't be a problem.
catch them at work or something. Where they
Shooting
can't
at the
have
cops? So you are arguing for not creating a law because some idiot's going to shoot at the cops? What happens when somebody shoots at the cops? They're not going to be a vaccination problem after that, are they? If the cops manage to subdue them, guess what's going to happen? They're going to go to jail for about 30 fucking years for attempted murder of a police officer, and they're going to get their shot as soon as they get to jail. You're going to let these dumb fucks with guns make you think like, oh, we can't enact any fucking common sense legislation because these motherfuckers will shoot. Let me tell you a little secret. 90% of anti-vaxxers would fold like a cheap piece of paper on a national vax mandate. Fold completely. All the rhetoric goes out the window. They'd be down there the first chance they get to get it because they don't want to pay a fine and they don't want to go to jail. That's all they need. You see, you understand that these big talk, all this big talk and all this big puffing up of the chest about how I'm American, you don't tell me to get what's what. You brace these motherfuckers just a little bit, they'd be lining up. Oh, give me the shot. Don't want to pay $500. Oh, this is what tyranny looks like. Fuck them. 90% of these motherfuckers would fold at the vague insinuation of a national vax mandate that included jail time if you didn't get it. These motherfuckers are not what they proclaim they are. They are not brave. They're not fucking, they're nothing. There might be one or two crazy fucks who decide they're going to get in a standoff with the police, and you know how that turns out.
Well, they might already be prone to do that anyways. If it's not this being the tyranny,
Right.
it's something else being the
Those
tyranny.
types of people need to be weeded out anyway. That's the cop's job. A person that's just looking for an excuse to start an insurrection out of their house and shoot a fucking police officer need to be dealt with anyway. So out of that fucking higher than 90% of people that would fold immediately, there's that, 2% of people that might try and escalate the shit? Not going to go well. Not going to work out well for them, is it? Citizens should find out who anti-vaxxers are in their communities and unironically harass and mock them in their homes until they do, threaten them even, screw these people. I don't know about threatening people. I do think a national publicly available vax registry would be good so that you can shun people in your fucking neighborhood. You got a neighbor who's not on the fucking list and they come to your door.
Like
You don't answer the door.
registry.
Yeah. You don't answer your door. Go get your vaccine. if you want to talk to me. Oh, I'm not doing it. Then don't come on my property again. You're not my neighbor till you're vaccinated. Get the fuck off my property. Ostracize these fucks. Absolutely. You see them out in fucking public, you announce to everybody, this person right here is not vaccinated. You might want to keep your distance from them. If you've got somebody, especially if you've got somebody immunocompromised in your fucking family, you definitely don't want to be around this family. They're anti-vaxxers. You know what the answer to that reverse shunning is, Sam Charles? Police action. Knock, knock. Hello, Mr. Smith. We see that you haven't been vaccinated and you've been fined twice and haven't paid your fines. Would you come with us, please? In the back of the black and white, you go. Damn, sounds like cops have got something to do to actually serve the public health now, huh? This idea is starting to sound pretty fucking good. What do you say that the vaccine only lasts 3 years? This is any vaccine. We're going to have to get boosters for COVID till the end of time. COVID boosters will be given with flu shots and everything else. It's going to be mixed into your regular fucking inoculation schedule. It's not going anywhere.
Would you only mandate the first
No.
thing, or would you mandate the boosters?
Mandate everything. You stay current or you go to jail. You are not allowed to be a public health hazard. And this goes for every type of vaccine. Fuck these people that are not getting their kids vaccinated for measles, mumps, rubella, the MMR vaccine. Nope. Your child is taken from you, given the vaccines, you are given a huge fine. And the child is released back to you. And then, 3 years down the line, when it's time for that child's boosters, your ass doesn't show up again, you get another big fine, and that child gets picked up and taken for their boosters. It's a win. This is the only language that these people speak. Obstinance has to be met with obstinance. So they only have the power to say no. Well, the American government has the power to compel action. So they can say no all they want, and they're going to get it anyway. That's the way it needs to be dealt with. Now, that's not going to happen. I'm just letting you know that everything we're talking about here today is a fantasy, because the American government doesn't really give a fuck. They're not willing to make the steps that need to be made to make this a safe place to live.
Like, Biden even, gave concessions to anti-vaxxers to try to get elected. He's like, I don't know about this Trump vaccine.
Oh, yeah. Him and Kamala Harris, right before the election, were like, I'm not sure about this Trump vaccine. We need to, take another look at this. They ended up using the Trump vaccine, by the way. They were fine with the Trump vaccine once they got in power. This is just bullshit. It's a game to them. That's why this will never happen. But I'm telling you, this is the common sense legislation that's needed in this country at a national level. Fuck the states. National level vax mandate. National vax registry. You're not vaccinated, you're fined. Anti-vax also worsens the homelessness crisis in this country another 17 days until that comes to a head, by the way. Not mentioning the housing market crash. Yep. I gotta take a peek. I'll be right back. Yep. Wanna go inside, D? Okay, you go.
Yeah, it's getting sticky out here. I'm probably not going to last much longer out here either.
No, me neither.
It's a fucking gross 82 degrees right now.
Give us any chance, we'll take it. Give us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way. What's gross?
No, that's 82.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's not as hot as it could be, but it's just starting to feel gross.
No. I mean, one of the things about dry heat is this. It was 100. You remember when we went and
Yeah.
visited my mom? It was over 100 that
Yeah.
day. But we sat outside and it was not uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Having shade in a dry heat knocks the temperature like 20 degrees. So we've got this nice shaded off porch, which isn't really going to get too hot until the sun sets in the fucking west. When the sun goes down, that's when this porch gets baked. But it's only for about an hour while the sun goes down over the horizon. Otherwise, being out here is like if I stepped out into the sun right now, the 20-degree temperature difference, easy.
I think it just in the morning it feels worse because we start with it being like 60 something.
Yeah, and it just slowly but surely goes up. Yeah. But that's the difference between a dry heat and a wet heat. If we were sitting outside and it was 95 in Louisiana, doesn't matter if you're in the shade. You are flop sweat. Here, as long as you're in the shade and you can go in and out every once in a while, you're not going to fucking be like...
Like, I think I can stand the 100 pretty tolerably. It's just in the morning when it's the transition that fucks up with me.
Yeah. It does suck. It does suck watching it go from like cool and comfortable to like fucking you don't even want to go outside. And then the air quality too is the real problem with the heat around here. When the high pressure systems kind of settle over the area that we live, it means that the air stops moving. So pollution just kind of creeps over the valley floor and hangs in the air. And then you couple that with the wildfires that happen here in California. There's not a real big one going near us now, but that could change today. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of time before another big giant fire starts because the drought conditions here in California are fucking insane. Insane. There are water basins in California. It's fucking crazy. I used to drive by these basins when I was a kid on my way. We drove by one on our way to Pismo, you remember? Big giant water basins. You can see the high water mark where the normal water level used to be 20 years ago, and it's fucking like a cliff. These basins are just like underground now. You have to walk down a winding, meandering path to get to the little puddle of water that's left in these basins. The drought is fucking insane here.
You know what cracks me up the most? That dry-ass canal that didn't have a drop of water in it having a no swimming sign next to it.
Yeah. That's just the way it is. Are you guys on a water limit? Well, we here are on a well. So there is a water charge in most areas of California if you're hooked up to the municipal water. We are not hooked up municipally here to water or sewer. We have a septic tank and a fucking well.
Yeah, the only limit is if that well dried up, then we'd have to
Which
make
it could.
a new well.
It happened to my brother. My brother-in-law has a house not too far from where we're at, short trip from where we're at, and his well just basically started spitting out mineral water, which means it was getting down to the bottom, and they had to come in and drill down further into the aquifer. It cost him $10,000. So there's a downside to not being hooked up to municipal water. But if we were here in California, we, in addition to our cable bill, our property taxes, all that shit, we'd be paying a water bill every month. You have my brother-in-law, the guy that married my sister, right? Having your own well still affects the groundwater level. Absolutely it does. But out here, there's no choice. When you live out here, you have no choice but to have a well. The municipal water lines stop about 10 miles that way. Or maybe not 10, but 5-6 miles that way. So you're on well or you don't have water. You have a septic tank or you don't have a sewer. You're pooping outside, Really nothing we can do.
So yeah, that's the only real consideration if we did somehow be able to buy this house, is we'd probably want someone to check that and see where it stands. Or can they even do that?
Well, I will tell you this. That well has been replaced.
Yeah.
Relatively recently. I would say that well is probably 5 or 6 years old at max. It's brand new looking. And so at some point in the recent history, they have done work on that well. I would imagine when they replaced the tank unit and the pump unit out there, they probably dug that well a little deeper. So that's a good sign. However, we don't know that. We could have somebody who's a specialist in wells come out, examine it, and tell us that we're nearing the bottom of the aquifer and they need to dig down another fucking 10, 20 feet. If that's the case, 10 grand.
I don't think you're allowed to collect rainwater in most places, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there are ordinances in California against quote unquote rain barrels, but people do it anyway.
It's not, the easiest thing to regulate for sure.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do? Just write tickets to everybody who's got a barrel at their house? I don't know.
I think I remember, like, my grandpa ended up having to get rid of his rain barrel, but that's because, like, he had it in a place that was right next to the road, so they saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got fucking me, bro, on why that's illegal.
Yeah, it is an American thing. It's not everywhere either. Like in Louisiana, where there is no water crisis. In fact, the water crisis in Louisiana is the opposite. There's too much. You can rain barrel it all fucking day. They don't give a fuck over there, right? But if you're living in an area that depends on the water table, has a lot of agriculture in it, you're going to have fucking regulations. What's the rationale for not letting people collect rainwater? Because that rainwater sits in a barrel, oftentimes unused, goes sour, becomes a place for mosquito larvae to breed, and never enters the water table properly. It just evaporates back into the sky. Rain needs to hit the ground in a drought area. And if you've got a big giant rain barrel out, that's gallons and gallons and gallons of water that should have entered the water table. And if 2,000 people in your area have a 20-gallon rain barrel, you're talking about a massive amount of water that's not hitting the water table, right? The Sierra Nevada mountain range now that I can see off to the east here. When I was a kid, I used to be able to see those same mountains capped with snow. Even now, they're completely devoid of snow. They look like the coastal range, which I can see to the west, which typically doesn't get snow capped.
I think
I've never seen that.
It's at like 2% of the normal snowpack or something.
2% of the normal snowpack at this time of year, which means that we're getting about 2% of the runoff water that we should get from the mountains this year. California's fucked. Fucked. It's turning into a desert. Water's becoming the new oil that will eventually be sold as a commodity and exported. It's already sold as a commodity, and it's already exported to regions that don't have enough.
Like, I think some farmers are saying, like, fuck the crops, I'm just going to sell my water allocation at this point.
Yep.
That's the way it goes. It's more profitable to sell their water than it is to grow crops.
Yep. This is something that, like, we've all been put up on game about, right? The fucking vice president of the United States stood in front of us and said that water wars are coming. She wasn't lying. She was saying the quiet part loud. We are about to be at a point where freshwater fucking reservoirs and basins become the new oil fields. All right, baby. There's water in space, yeah. We just have no way to get it. Move near the Great Lakes, problem solved? No. Us having one of the largest basins of fucking freshwater in the world, in fact, I think it's the largest collection of freshwater in the world, is going to make us the target of every fucking country in the world. The water crisis is already bad. Come visit California and drive through the Central Valley of California, and you'll see the water crisis is already here. Desalination plants are probably going to be used more than water. Yeah, and that's horrible, by the way. Sucking water out of the ocean is a horrible idea. They're going to have a hell of a time trying to get the Great Lakes to take it, though. I mean, yeah. Yep, wildfires are set to be record-breaking again this year in California. I'm actually surprised we don't have a giant active one right now. but it's waiting. You can almost feel it coming, and this whole area is just going to be fucked. It's going to be disgusting air quality here. The Great Lakes are already facing a fucking water reduction crisis too. The levels of the Great Lakes have fallen immensely. There are farmer signs up the 5 in Central Valley about the water crisis, up the 99, up the 41, everywhere you go. Pray for rain, build more dams. Water grows food. You see these big, they park their tractors out by the fucking freeway and they put a big sign on it. It's everywhere. Is there any chance we could be going through a warming period since we've also had ice age periods in the past? I'm not sure what you're asking. The food crisis will follow the water crisis. I mean, okay, so let me answer this. Is there possible that we're having a natural warming period? No. The reason for that is that climate scientists can track via core samples and other data what the climate was at different points in the history of planet Earth. And the warming that's happening now is happening like 10 times as fast as it's ever happened in the history of the planet. So we have gone through cycles of warming, CO2 buildup and greenhouse buildup and humidification of the planet. We have never had it happen this fast or this widespread. So if you look at the charts of past warming and cooling trends, they look very, very uniform. If you look at the warming trend for the last 100 years, it looks like this. It doesn't look anything like the past warming trends. It's like a giant volcano that never stops erupting. The amount of CO2 and carbon that's being put into the sky would be like having a fucking Indonesian volcano that just erupted for fucking years and years on end and never stopped. It's just pumping CO2 into the atmosphere, pumping greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. We're just doing that with our cars. Are many sinkholes near you? No, not that I'm aware of, but I know that that does happen, especially on in the coastal areas of California. Sinkholes are starting to become a big deal. A whole section of the scenic Highway 1, also known as the Pacific Coast Highway in California, which is a huge fucking artery, fell into the ocean recently. Like just a whole like half-mile track of it just fell into the ocean and is closed and being rebuilt now. And this has happened before. So yeah, you're starting to see infrastructure in California fall apart. You're starting to see the water crisis really take shape. And then this is going to be one of the first areas that really feels it, because the fruit you eat and the vegetables that you eat, there's a good chance they come from right in the area that I live. And we got 2% of the water that we need to grow it. So you guys are going to start feeling that shit at the fucking grocery store. It's, this is an existential crisis for the United States that's not being dealt with in any way. The one that goes all the way up into Oregon and Washington, that highway, yeah. Highway 1 goes all the way up the Pacific coast through Oregon and into Washington. So does 99, though. It's just inland. That's the inland route. 99 goes up through Oregon, up through Washington, center state, and the PCH goes up through California on the coast, through the Oregon coast and up through into Canada. It's game over for us, y'all. I-5 is the inland route on the West Coast. Well, it's one of the inland routes on the West Coast. 99 is the major artery for travel between Washington, Oregon, and California. It is the major artery that goes all the way up the west. So I-5 is another route that you can take, but I-5 is typically tangled up in cities. So you take I-5, you're going to hit San Francisco, San Diego, depending on which way you're heading. So if that's what you're traveling to, you take I-5. But if you're trying to get up the gut of California, all the way from southern to northern California, 99 is what you take. 99 or the PCH. PCH is going to be way slower. But the I-5 is a commuter fucking road. So it's like, it's used when you're commuting from one place to another. But if you're actually making a long trip up the gut of California, you're taking 41.99 or the PCH. And it's only a matter of time before a major earthquake happens. Well, yeah, of course. That's California for you. Things definitely aren't looking up. Somehow humanity seems to make it through, though, some way. Well, we'll see. Interstate 5 is also clogged with big rigs and other vehicles. So is 99. There's really not a great route. The structural integrity of I-5 decenters is kind of crappy and need of repair. Depends on the area that you're in. There are long stretches of it that are beautiful, recently redone. Long stretches of it that are potholed, single lane shit. California has some of the best and some of the worst roads in the country. And oftentimes it's stretches of the same road that take that taco. Humanity might make it through, but a lot of people are still going to die needlessly. None of the people responsible, of course. Well, they'll probably croak too. I mean, this humanity might make it through thing. I'm not trying to be the ultimate doomsayer and shit, but if you look at the multiple fucking crises that are facing us, not just self-created economic crises, but climate crises, I don't see a good chance of humanity surviving not only the changing of climate, but the war and pestilence and famine and disease and war that's going to come with this. I'm already starting to see climate change negatively affect my area. In the city of Miami, new pumps were first installed in richer, higher ground areas where lowland areas were neglected. Your state is also sinkhole central, right? Like certain areas of fucking Florida are like sinkhole fucking central. Literally, the ground table water has gone down so far that there's all these voids under the fucking ground now, and it's just crumbling away. Utah would bring people from around the world for our snow and ski resorts, and suddenly the winters are getting drier. I mean, dude, I just got done telling you about the Sierra Nevadas. Some of the best fucking skiing in America up there. Used to be Heavenly Valley was up there. There's a number of them. Just huge, absolutely fucking beautiful skiing resorts all throughout the Sierra Nevadas. Most of them have been closed for 3 years. There's just not enough snow. You can't ski. When I was a kid, those mountains were fucking filled with water by this time. Just absolutely snow-capped. And over the course of the fucking summer, that runoff would happen and the fucking canals and rivers in California would just full. Not anymore. I'm already noticing Wisconsin becoming more and more humid in the summer, more and more bitter in the winter. I'm not even that old, like at all. I'm 24, and I've noticed a difference in childhood. You'll notice an even bigger difference as you get my age, trust me. Aspen is even having less than perfect conditions. Aspen, I mean, anything like that is going to be on the chopping block here pretty soon. Often seen in these neglected areas. Meanwhile, most of the funding given to Miami for storm surges are used to raise the streets in these richer areas. Yeah, of course. I'm late. Also, it's like 85 here. We now have red wasps that used to only be in Texas. Hope everyone uses sunscreen. Yeah. 20 years ago, there was way more snow. Yeah, maybe so. Enough with the performative virtue signaling of climate change. All right. There you go. Now you don't have to hear it anymore. See ya, buddy. Hope you find somebody that's not performative to watch. Anybody else have a problem with the topic at hand? I'd be happy to escort you out and help you find something else to watch. My cousin makes snow for a mountain. They're struggling to keep it open. Yeah, they do the snow blower things and shit. I stopped wanting to be a scientist after my master's. Most of your creative potential is pipelined into how do I produce more crops with less water? Of course. We had the weakest winter I've ever seen in Michigan this year. When I was a kid, the snow would be above the door. Yep. What do you think drives all the climate change denial in America? Is it idiots falling for propaganda? Is it fear that their lives might have to change? The latter. The latter. I mean, there is a lot of propaganda around climate change. Obviously, industry would like us to ignore it so that they can keep raking in money hand over fist and raping the environment. But no, I think it's just mostly because people aren't willing to make sacrifices in their life. They're not willing to change the way that they live. They're not willing to accept that some of the things that we take for granted here, like access to infinite beef, access to infinite meat, is destroying our fucking planet, and that we need to reorganize how we eat. A small amount of meat and mostly vegetables and grains and shit is what we should be eating. And it's kind of upside down in America. We love just having a big wad of meat in front of us, and that's killing the fucking planet. Nobody wants to give that up. Nobody wants to change how they're doing things at home. Nobody wants it, right? Everybody wants to think that we can get through this, and they're not going to have to make a personal sacrifice or have their life change in any fundamental way. That is what drives most climate change denial, is a desire to go forward tomorrow, next week, next month, the same way that you're going, so that it's predictable. Synthetic meat is not a viable solution until it can be made cheaper and mass-produced easier. It is a viable option for people that have the money to buy what is functionally twice or three times as expensive as meat. But for most people, it's pretty much out of their wheelhouse. So I agree that lab-grown meat and plant-based meat substitute products are a great way to go, but we're a long way from that. We're a long way from that being as functional and accessible as actual meat is. Oh yeah, the amount of food that's wasted in U.S. homes and U.S. restaurants, something like 40% of food goes in the trash can at a restaurant. This is just typical food waste. Same thing goes for grocery stores. Any place that sells food, about 40% of that food ends up in the fucking trash. So you do the math on that shit. The opulence in which we live, in this constant, like I can get anything any time of the day right now, that has to end in America. That we have to come up with a new way of being conscious about what we consume, and people don't want to do that. People want to keep living like they're living and throwing plastic into the ocean and pretending like they care about the problem but aren't going to really do anything about it. It's much easier to go like, oh, we need to do something about climate change and then keep functionally living the way that you are, than it is to actually advocate for some changes and implement those in your life. I'll be willing to make sacrifices if we decide as a planet's for the best, but trying to do things as a single individual feels kind of pointless. Well, it is. I mean, you have to understand, like, you can make the choice to be more carbon neutral as a person, but you're not making a dent in the problem. This has to be something that comes from the top down. People are like the vaccine thing. Unfortunately, there are going to be a huge amount of people in this country who drag their feet on this because people hate change. So it's going to have to be implemented in some kind of an authoritarian way. Have you made any sacrifices yourself, Paul? Never mind. Okay. Revolution and worker strikes to save the earth, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Anyway, I think I got to end this now. I got stuff to do today. I got shit to fucking accomplish. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for chilling.